My friends, I am presently trying to put fluid in this big tractor tire, and I'm filming a whole series on repairing this tire and filling it. But because this is going so slow, I thought I would take on another side project, and I'm going to film the side project as well. And it could be that you'll actually see this side project before you see the video on this. While this is doing its thing, filling full of fluid and going very slow, the side project will be remodeling my shop press that I built. I have some modifications I want to make to it to improve it. First, I'll give you a little background on this shop press. Presently, I have a 20-ton air hydraulic jack on here. This is a Harbor Freight jack, and I have a foot pedal down here so I can operate this with my foot so that it keeps both hands free. All I have to do is tighten this down and then step on the air pedal, and this will, automatically do its thing, which is really handy having the air jack on there. And I have found this press to be pretty much invaluable over the last 5 or 6 years. I don't use it real often, but when I need to use it, it's super handy. The reason I built it like I did, it's kind of an unusual shape. I'll bring the camera closer so you can see this. You can see that this is a T shape. This is a thick piece. This is 1/4 inch angle iron, about 3 inch by 3 inch. That's just a guess. And it's been welded together like a T. Now, I did not do that. It was already welded together like that, and I just had this in my scrap pile. And I always thought, what could I make out of that piece of heavy angle iron in that T shape? So I just drilled holes through it, as you can see here, and then put a table on it like this, and I can move that table up and down. Of course, I put my jack on it with some springs, and everything works great. I just absolutely love it. It's very sturdy, very, very strong. It can handle more than the 20-ton jack can handle. I've already maxed the jack out, and this thing never moved at all. So it's really powerful, very strong. However, I knew from the moment I built it, it had one flaw. And I just couldn't think of a good way around it at that time, and maybe I didn't even want to think about a way around it. But here, let me show you the flaw. The table is flat. There is a tiny hole through the middle here, but it's so tiny it's impractical to use for anything. So what I want to do is cut this table off, like right about here, and put large steel on the outside, leave this whole area open so that you can push things through. And then it'll be much more versatile, much more useful. I've already bought these press plates, and knowing full well that they're basically useless right now because I can't press down through them. But if I rebuild this platform and make a big hole through here, then these press plates will be very handy. And these are heavy duty ones. They're a full inch by 7 inches. So these are good and strong. So my goal is to cut the table off here and here, weld some heavy steel on the outside, leave this open. Before I cut this apart, I thought I'd show you one of the really cool features about this particular press. These pins, are taking the majority of the weight, but I have backup pins below that you can't see off camera. If I pull these pins out, you'll notice it doesn't fall. It's still sitting on the backup pins. So that's really handy for adjusting this vise, and it's kind of like a safety catch. So if you look here, you can see I can pick it right up and set it right down on the pins. So I've got double pins in terms of pressing force, but that allows me to take this out, and I'll take it over to the bench and we'll start working on this. As you can see, I've moved it over here to the saw. And this could very well just be overkill for this saw because we're sawing through a lot of solid steel. It's pretty much solid steel for about 2 inches there. But let's see if it'll do it. I don't know. my surprise, it's cutting through it fairly well. I've still got about a third of the way to go. I'm about 2/3 through, I think. I'm going to let it just cool off a second and then go back to it. Alright, it's had a couple of minutes to cool down a little bit. Doesn't really feel hot or anything, but I thought I'd just give it a break.
I can't be your fool anymore, darling.
Well, that worked just about as perfect as it could possibly work. I don't know, maybe I'm going to put a mark on all of these just for alignment purposes. So I'm just going to put like an X here, an X here in the middle. Not that it really matters on this middle piece, but you never know. And an X there, and then that way I'll know that's all the same side. Now I've got to get it lined up and cut the other side off. I think I have it lined up really well, so here we go. Well, I'll be honest, I think I might have hit a hard spot. It seems like it wanted to stop right there. I'm hoping that's not the case. Well, I'm going to inspect the teeth on this and make sure I didn't just burn it up. But honestly, I'm afraid I might have hit a hard spot. It still feels fairly sharp. I don't think I want to keep pushing that. The problem is now it would be hard to line up and try to cut from the other side. I'll try it, but I don't know that I can do that. I'm just going to go for it and we'll see what happens. Well, quite honestly, it seemed to hit about the same hard spot in about the same place. I'm not going to push it because I don't want to burn up my blade. So I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw and see if I can finish cutting that with the bandsaw. This is just a little Harbor Freight bandsaw, portable bandsaw that I just made a stand for. It's going to be kind of awkward trying to saw this because this is way too big, but we'll see what happens. You never know till you try. Well, believe it or not, it's actually cutting it. And you know, if I wear out a blade on this, I got plenty more blades. I'm not too worried about that. I don't know if it's a good idea to put oil on this or not, but I'm going to. I'm going to turn it over now and cut the rest from the other side, mainly because I'm running out of room, number one, and number two, I can't see the line anymore. So it should work if I turn it around, I think. Assuming I can get it out of there. Right at the moment, that doesn't look promising. Come on, come on. Shouldn't be this hard, but it is. Got it almost all the way out too. That's what's sad, is it's almost out. I'm afraid to turn it on, but I might just turn it on and see what happens. And of course I pulled the blade off of it, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm not too worried about ruining one of these blades. But it just got tight right there at the end. I don't know why. Just one of them deals where it just had to give you trouble. It's just almost out, but I can't get it out right there, that last little bit. Now that I got a different look at this, I can see that this is open wider than this, and so there's a stress on this bent. So I'm going to try to beat it over a little bit. It didn't quite do it. I'd have to put a little more oomph in it. That did it. Maybe. No, maybe not. I thought that did it. Maybe not. Sometimes it's just not easy being me. Well, off camera, I drove a chisel into this, and that loosened it up. At least I got it up as high as the chisel. Now can I get it out if I knock the chisel out? That's the next question. Nope, I can't. It went back tight again. So the next possibility is to drive the chisel in behind it here. Maybe not. Almost, but not quite. Maybe I can drive it just a tiny bit on the edge and open it up and get it a little bit further each time. But it locks right back in place as soon as I get it. Maybe I can open up the slot down here. Almost, not quite. Maybe I'll get it. Not quite. I don't know if this will do anything or not over here, but it's going to hurt to try. I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it. You know, there was just stress in that cut and it just locked the blade in. That's all that happened. Not a big deal, just something that happened. Now I'll get the blade back on here. I think this blade's still okay. I don't really see a kink in it or anything. I mean, there might be a few bad teeth now in that one spot, but I think it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on there and we'll try it again from the other side. Okay, I've got the blade back on there and I'm going to try it again from the other side. How do you spell success? That's how I spell it right there. That worked. I'm happy with that. Okay, now that I've got these two pieces cut apart, these are the pieces that are going to go back on the machine, of course. I've got this other piece of channel and I'm going to cut it off at 24 inches and then I'm going to cut it off at 12 inches and I'm going to have that span this opening in this area here. At least that's my plan. Here's my safety glasses. Let's see if this will cut. That actually cut like butter. So no problem on that one. Now let's see if I can mark it where I can get exactly dead center on this. I think that's it. Close enough for this project. Boy, they're pretty dang close. That's pretty close. Can't hardly get them much closer than that, in fact. I'll be happy with that. I'm going to go over to the grinder now and just smooth some of this off with the grinder. Well, this is approximately what I'm going for. And I'm going to have to put it back on the machine in order to get this just right. But this is 27 inches and that's about what that was. Now we got a bigger table here. We're going to be almost an 8-inch table where we only had about a 4-inch table before. So we're just about doubling the size of the actual table area. We've got this large hole here where we can press through, so we can press through 4 by 6, something like that. So 4 inches is about all we can really do. Rethinking that, I probably should have left a couple of inches or another inch on this and another inch on this. That would have been smart on my part, but nobody ever said I was real smart, so that probably would have been a good idea, but that's okay. I'm not going to cry about that. We'll make this work the way it is. I don't think it's going to be a problem because I'll be able to weld along here, inside and out, all these welds. So it'll be pretty darn strong. Right now I'm going to get the hand grinder out and clean up some of this. This is all rough stuff and there's some slag on it and things, so I'm going to clean all this up.
It's just not right to treat my heart this way. I can't be your fool anymore, darling. A fool is what I'll be if I stay.
Well, I got that cleaned up a little bit, did a little bit of beveling where I'm going to weld. I've got this set at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to cut the corners of these off. That'll just make it a little more user-friendly, and it really won't change the strength, I don't think.
I can't cry for you anymore, darling. It's just not right to treat my eyes this way.
And of course, it doesn't reach. It's never ever simple. Well, I thought I had the camera on. I don't know how much I got or didn't get, but I decided to cut all these on a 45-degree angle, and of course the thing won't come down far enough to cut the bottoms off. So on 4 corners I'm going to have to go over to the bandsaw and try to trim them up to match. It's the best I can do. I've already cut 3 of these angles off. I've got 1 left to cut. I thought I'd show you how I'm cutting it here on the bandsaw. This little bandsaw from Harbor Freight is so crazy loud, it just about drives you insane. So for you, I'll turn the sound down, but for me, I'm wearing these. Make short work of it. It just cuts those right off. I don't know what I ever did before I got that little bandsaw. It's not a real fine machine, but it is a good machine in terms of cutting steel. The thing just cuts. It's awesome. Not sure how well you'll be able to make this out, but this is the short piece, and that piece over here that I cut off. This is the piece I'm putting in between the two. I've got magnets holding this piece up. I've got boards keeping those 2 pieces flat. I've got the pins back inserted. I've got clamps keeping those boards, tight to those, keeping everything flat. It's just clamped every way you can think of. The only dodgy part is these magnets holding this piece up, and they're just barely holding it, I gotta be honest. But I'm gonna get my little Harbor Freight welder and just tack weld the corners here, and maybe here, and wherever I can get to, and just tack it in place. That'll at least kind of make it a little bit more solid for the moment. I don't know how much of this you'll be able to see, because I'm gonna probably be in your way, but we gotta do what we gotta do here. Well, that's at least got it sort of tacked in place. Well, I think that's got this side held pretty good. Kind of think I can take all the braces off now, but I'm a little leery to do that until I get that other side tacked on. I think I'll just tack the other side on and then get rid of all these braces.
I can't cry for you anymore, darling. You never made a difference anyway. I can't be your fool anymore, darling.
Well, I think that'll hold. Let's take it apart and see what happens. Well, that's looking pretty good. That's exactly how I was hoping it would look. The pins seem like they're going to be okay too. If they're okay in those holes, I would assume they'll be okay in the rest of the holes. I think I'm going to take it over to my welding table now and get her all welded up. Once again, this is where that double pin system really is handy. I can pull out the main pins, and then I can, get a hold of this thing and get it out of here.
It's just not right to treat my heart this way. I can't be your fool anymore, darling. A fool is what I'll be if I stay.
I'm not the best welder in the world, but I'll guarantee you that ain't gonna break. It's not welded up solid enough yet. I'm gonna do some more welding. You can drop it out as an airplane now and it's gonna stay together. I don't know if I can get to it to weld it on the inside. I would like to do that. I think I'll just stick a rod down in there and see what I can get to. I'm not a great welder in a tight spot like that. I think it's welded well enough on this part. Now what I'm going to try to do is find some pieces I can sit down in here to weld to these ends, and then also weld to these side pieces, kind of up the corners, and I think that'll make it totally strong. I don't think it could possibly break then. I think I found the perfect piece of steel, big 1/4 inch plate steel. And it's 5 inches, which is exactly the height of this, so it'd be perfect. And now I'm going to cut the 4 inches this way, and that's going to be really good. Well, I thought that would cut right through that, but it's not. I think the blade's probably getting dull, and laying it down flat, it's hitting a lot of resistance, so I guess I'll just switch modes here and try it this way. I think it'll cut it this way. Typical case that I was trying to force it. You know, if I'd have just went the other way to start with, it'd have been no problem. It's a little bit warm, I'll say that. Usually it doesn't get that hot, but I guess because I was straining it there, it got pretty hot. Well, that's kind of warm, but it ain't too bad. The idea is to put this down in here and weld it. That'll make it a solid square and make it really strong. It'll be just as strong as it was before when I get this welded in there. Very hot. I'm going to get a little tack weld on those.
Stand the blues anymore, darling. It's just not right to treat my mind this way. I can't stand the blues anymore, darling. I've got to put an end to yesterday. I can't be your fool anymore, darling. It's just not right to treat my heart this way. I can't be your fool.
Well, as the fella from Farmcraft says, that ain't going nowhere. It ain't pretty. I'm not the best welder, but I guarantee you that ain't gonna break. Well, that's the bottom side, so that's good enough. I'm going to go back to the top side and clean it up some more. Here's a close-up. I'll probably put a little paint on that, but I'll probably wait till I get it on the machine. Well, there's the finished product. I'm real happy with that. That big opening is going to be awesome for punching things through, and it'll work great with those new plates that I have. Well, now that I've got the new platform built for this press. I thought I'd at least show you how the press operates. I don't really have anything that needs pressing at the moment, unfortunately, because I would love to try this out with this nice new big hole in here. And really it's a bigger platform, a bigger base. And with these big heavy steel plates now, it's going to be really awesome. At least you can see how this works. When I step on this pedal down below, this tightened up, this will start coming down.
A fool is what I'll be if I stay.
Well, of course, as soon as I turned the press on, the air compressor had to start and make all kinds of noise, so I waited for the air compressor to finish. And now I'll show you the power that this kind of a press has. This is just a block of wood, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to bust it to pieces. You can see there, it just broke it. That wasn't much of a test. But this kind of a press really does have a lot of power. And you can see there how it drove right down through the piece. Yeah, there's not much stopping a press like this except solid steel, of course. It's very powerful, and it's super handy to have the foot pedal. If you have a press and you have the ability to put the air jack on it, be sure to put the foot pedal on it. Oh my gosh, it's so much better than the hand lever. Just so handy to have both hands free to manipulate parts and things as you're stepping on the pedal. Okay, I'm at my homemade shop press. I have this piece that I use for bending sheet metal. I'm going to see if it'll bend this heavy stuff here. It might or it might not. And I've got it turned crossways. I've got this sitting on 2-inch thick plates. And we'll just see what happens. All I have to do is step on my foot pedal and this should start coming down. And now it's locking on to it. So now I'm going to see if I can press it a little bit more, make it bend it. Okay, well the air compressor kicked on, so I had to wait for that to quiet down. But you can see here that we've already got it pressed up. This is lifted about 1/4 inch in the front and about 1/4 inch on the back here. So that's probably all the bending I need to do. So I'm going to release the pressure. And we'll just stop it right there. And you can see there that it did bend it real nice. It's just a perfect bend. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing how the press actually works. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. We'll see you down the road.